Hey, we're late. Sorry about that, everyone. I am Argo's strategic advisor, Dave Rowe, and I am sitting here live from my boat in beautiful Hopewell, Virginia. And I'm sitting here with Captain Jeff, the Captain Jeff of Argo, the founder of the Feast and the brilliance behind the app. How are you doing, Jeff?
Doing good. I we had a busy week, 3 shows in 4 days, and I took a little time in Ocean City on the way back. But we are finally here. I think boating season is starting up. We were myself. I was at the DC National Harbor Show for a little bit, walked the show. Then in
Right?
Annapolis, I was at a World Cruising Club show. They had us down there with a table. Meanwhile, Dave was down at the American Great Loop Cruising Association Spring Rendezvous in Norfolk, and I joined him on Sunday. It was a four day show, and that's something we always participate in. And we had a lot of buzz. There's a lot of buzz among loopers. They've got their traditional apps, obviously Navionics. Many of them use Aquamap, but there's more of a buzz now than ever before about what Argo can do. And I mean, Dave demoed it to a lot of wide-eyed new boaters, and as he was telling me, I think it allowed them to see that they could navigate the waters, but they were not sure about. They were worried. But with Argo, we make it easy. But it's, we put a lot of work behind the scenes in terms of making sure those auto routes are accurate. That kind of leads into what we're doing with the auto routing.
That's true.
Dave and I, with our developer, the last seems like a month. We're kind of waiting for it to break, but our developer, amazing, has created an algorithm that follows the buoy system. I don't know of any app that does that. I know people lay out paths through the channels, things like that you'll hop on, you'll follow, but I don't know if they actually use code to understand, the buoy system like we do, and kind of recognize red, green, where you should be, things like that. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but I
Nothing
think we've
is.
got 95% or more, and where we have issues, we're going to be building paths, but that's what we got coming out to you, because for many of you that have tried to explore our auto routing into very narrow channels inside, to get to a marina, you go pretty far inland. NOAA doesn't always cover that area real well. They don't do good depth surveys, and without depth, our routing is sort of lost. It's not like you might think that they say, oh, well, there's a channel there. There's markers. It should just follow it. Well, you have to have code to tell you to follow those markers, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Exactly.
So that's what we got. We've got a lot more coming with improved charts, but that's one thing we're hoping to start testing soon and bring to everyone. That kind of inspired Dave, as we had been working on it and trying to figure out how to help our developer with the channels and understanding how the buoy system works in the United States. He recently released a blog to kind of help not only those of us that hope to do some cruising, hope to get out on the water, but all of you. Interesting article, Dave. You want to talk a little bit to that? Maybe you can enlighten us as to, we may all think we know the buoy system, but maybe we
Oh,
don't know everything.
absolutely. Well, I mean, it's impossible to know everything. And one of the things that a lot of people have been asking us for this stay in channel feature, because previously, until now, Argo's auto routing has used just depth to route you, and as we're releasing this feature and just about to get it into testing, and which I'm very excited about, by the way, it occurred to me that now that we are going to be routing people in channels, uh, it's important to know when you shouldn't be in the channel. And that is actually the crux of the entire article, because uh, just because there's a channel there doesn't mean that everybody should be in it. Some of them are made for 1,000-foot Panamax cargo ships and cruise ships and really big boats that do 20, 30 knots. Uh, you don't want to get in their way. And so I thought it was important to really spell it out, because Argo is going to understand the channel system and the marker system, but it's not necessarily going to understand when you should have your common sense say, I shouldn't be here.
Okay.
And so that's in the article. That's in. So is the blog live yet, Jeff? I haven't checked. Well, you don't have to check. It's going to be there soon, and I think when the newsletter
I'm
comes
going
out,
to check, but I thought it was going live, or if it, yeah, you can talk about shipping channels, because that is something we hope to address at some point here.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's spelled out well in the article, but I think it's important for people to understand that if you are traversing an area where there is a shipping channel. Let's say you're coming into New York City, or you're in Puget Sound, and there's a shipping channel, and you can tell it's a shipping channel because the buoys aren't 3 feet tall; they're 10 feet tall. These suckers are big, and the channels themselves are really straight. And if you're in one of those channels, it's usually best practices to not be in the channel, to be just outside the channel. So instead of having the channel markers uh, just off the right side of your vessel, you might have them just off the left side of your vessel. So you're giving the channel to that commercial traffic. And it really can save your life. And if you have to cross a shipping channel, or if you have to cross a traffic separation scheme, it's important in the traffic separation schemes to know which way the traffic is traversing. So you look at the chart to make sure you know that. That should be in the ENC view. And then you're going to cross the channel of the traffic SEP at a right angle and get just outside of it, so that you are not in the way, and you can't have a 1,000-foot ship coming through you, which would be very uncomfortable. So it looks like we have some folks chiming in here, Jeff. Looks like this fellow Jonathan Lewis. He's a new subscriber, a premium user, lifetime member. He's looking for suggestions as to how to make our app viable well into the future. I think he went on to say that in a follow up that he wants to help us get more folks on board. It sounds like he wants to be some sort of an evangelist for us. This is exciting stuff.
Yeah, we don't have we have had an ambassador program in the past, which allowed people to maybe more formally promote the app. We have people that spread the word, but if they want to pass flyers out to their marina, local marinas in their area, clubs that they're aware of, happy to send a stack of flyers your way, maybe with an Argo hat. So, let me know if you want to help us spread the word. There we go. We are working with a lot more groups and associations, clubs, cruising clubs, boat clubs, which it's exciting, but they're coming to us and wanting to partner. So we are doing more of that. You'll see that, if you belong to some cruising clubs, associations, or a local freedom or carefree club. But no, we hope to be here long into the future too. We've been at it for 6 years now. I think people see we're not going away. We're not planning to sell. We're here for the long time. I don't know about Dave, but I'm having too much fun. And the app is never where we want it to be. We're always hearing from our own users what they would like to see. So there's always more we can add to this app, and we're looking forward to doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, as Stacy pointed out there, it is live. It got posted today. So the art of following the channel and science of leaving it. It's out there. It'll
Right.
be there'll be a link in our newsletter that's coming out this week. So if you get our newsletters and emailed to you, that it should be there as well.
Yep. We have Glenn here. He just finished a 680-mile passage using Argo. That's a big trip.
Yeah, it's too
All
bad we
right.
can't. We need to dial Glenn in. Maybe, boy, it would have been great to dial him in for this live. He and his buddy traversed the loop on jet skis.
Oh, really?
So that's where he's talking about this 680-mile passage. My understanding, it was on jet skis and it was on the loop. So
Very
pretty cool
cool.
stuff. I hopefully will. Well, in our newsletter, we're definitely gonna highlight him. Maybe even a blog. Maybe next live, if he's interested, we'll bring him on and hear more about his adventure.
That's great. Yeah, for those who don't know, the Great Loop is a 6,000-mile circumnavigation of the eastern United States. So the Hudson River to the New York State Canal System, most notably the Erie Canal, up to the Great Lakes, through the Great Lakes, down the western rivers to Mobile, Alabama, and then you have the Intracoastal Waterway System that gets you back around up the East Coast. It's a fantastic trip. It takes about a year for most of us. I did it a few years ago. But if you're doing it on jet skis, I know some people have done it in weeks, not months. So
I don't think Glenn's doing it in weeks. He did a good bit of it. Took some time off over the winter. He's starting up again. I think he's going to be continuing his journey for a while to come. So
that's
we'll
awesome.
hope to hear more about what he's doing.
That's awesome. But we did have some people write in and send us some questions too, didn't we, Jeff?
We did. We had 3 questions, which I wanted to answer them then because they came in a week and a half ago. But we can talk about them today. One gentleman was asking us if our ETA was going to be based on no wake zones in the future, and currently it's not. You set sort of an average speed. If you happen to know you're going through a lot of no wake zones, you can adjust that average speed. But ideally, it would be nice. It would pick up that you are in a no wake zone, and it would adjust. Now, having said that, our ETA is based on average speed. If you get into a no wake zone and all of a sudden it picks up your current average speed is 5 miles an hour instead of the 15 or 20 that you were going, it could mess up your ETA completely. So those are things we're going to have to figure out how to work into the algorithm. But if you're just planning and you want to know how long it's going to take you to get somewhere, we are currently not including any no wake zone. We've still got to map them into our charts, understand where those zones are, and then work that into our ETA algorithm. So something we want to do, we just don't have it yet.
All right. Hey, Glenn just corrected us. He sailed those 680 miles
Oh,
from South
I'm sorry,
Carolina
Glenn.
to Long
If
Island.
you ever want to hop on a jet ski, maybe you can join the 2 gentlemen that are doing that. But I guess I got you mixed up with 2 guys doing the loop on jet skis. So I know I recognize Glenn's name. So I think he came in through New York and was impressed with our routing. And thank you, Dave. You had a lot to do with that. Bringing you into Long Island, New York, and it gets pretty crazy
It
in
definitely
terms
can.
of channels and traffic
I
channels through
and
there.
I mean, actually, that's a good topic for us to discuss here too, because New York City is a VTS area, a vessel traffic services area, which means that all the commercial traffic, the tugboats, the barges, the ships, the ferries, everybody there has to listen if they're on the VHF radio to channel 13, not 16 like the rest of us. So if you are going through an area that is vessel traffic services with vessel traffic services like New York, not only do you have to monitor 16, which is required, or 9, but you also really should be monitoring 13, because if you try to get in touch with a ship, a commercial vessel, a ferry in New York City, and you call them on 16, they will not hear you because they are not required to listen to 16 because it's a VTS area. So that I have to write an article about this at some point, Jeff. But that's a good bit of information for those who are headed toward New York at this time of the year, which I know. Speaking of the great loopers, they'll be going through there very soon. So, do we have another question from the write-ins? I think you had.
Yeah,
one
we
or
had
two
another
more there.
question. I'm just trying to get the names here. David Warshowski. David does a lot of boating on the Chesapeake Bay, and he wants to know if there's something in Argo that can help him avoid the crab pots.
This is a difficult question. Do you want me to take it, or do you want to take the lead on this one, Jeff?
You can take it. I guess the question that he wrote, I'll read it. I do a lot of boating in Chesapeake Bay. I often have to avoid crab pots, which are sometimes close to channels. Is there a way to locate these in Argo, and do users need to mark and share them as points?
So, I mean, this is kind of kissing two different subjects. And I know we've been talking with crabbers who would like to be able to mark their own crab pots. Once we have that functionality in Argo, I suppose theoretically, people could be marking crab pots for themselves to know where they have run into them in the past. Where this gets complicated, and I'm speaking as somebody who grew up in Maine, where you cannot actually go anywhere without running through lobster pots. They're thicker than thieves up there. And these fish pots move. The fishermen come out and they pull them up and they bait them again, and then they might set them somewhere else. If they aren't getting a lot of hits in one location, they'll take it and move it somewhere else. And so even if we were to provide a way to mark crab pots, we would have to have them disappear from the chart very quickly too. So I don't think there's an effective way to sort of track them through the app. Now, having said that, there is something in the NOAA ENC where areas, especially on Chesapeake Bay, are designated as fish trap areas, and I guess we're working on getting all of the areas that are in the NOAA ENC into Argo, so that you can see them and see where maybe these things might be thicker, and find an area that might potentially be a better path. This is another case where staying in the channel probably helps you too, because no one's supposed to be setting fish traps in channels. So.
Another question here from Doug Kane, and I don't know if Doug's on, but he was asking whether or not working offline on his iPad, he's got charts downloaded, wondering how he could record a track while he's offline. And this is a good subject to talk about our offline capability in general. But yeah, number one, you should download offline charts, because you will have some charting for a short bit if it's cached, but you need the depth numbers, the depth shading. So before you go out, you can now, with a premium version, download fairly large areas. And in fact, we're going to be sending a release out in the next few days that's going to increase that region that you can download significantly. So you might as well wait, because it's much bigger than what we've offered to date. So that's number one, get your downloaded charts. Two, if you've got routes that you've planned out, you unfortunately can't create auto routes offline. You've got to create them when you've got internet, save them to your captain's log, and download them to your local device. You can download them within the captain's log, so they're available to you when you're offline. Recording a track is something it does amazingly well offline, using satellite, GPS for your location. You don't need to do anything. It's an inherent feature of Argo. When you're offline, if you want to record your track, you can do it just as easily if you're online. You can't save your track, but that's if you do try to save it, I think it gives you a message that it will save it once you're back online, and you'll see that when you get back online, it'll save it and bring it into your captain's log.
I have a. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and finish.
No, I was just going to say it's very similar to taking a voyage. So if you create a route, start a voyage, it will record your track for you, just like tapping on track.
Cool. I have actually, this is a question that somebody asked me at the AGLCA rendezvous last week, and I've been meaning to ask you this myself. Speaking about offline, so let's say I have downloaded a bunch of offline charts. What happens 3 months later when the charts might have been updated and whatnot? Do they automatically update on the device, or do I have to download them again?
Right now, you have to download them again.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been talking about automating that in a way. Let's say 3 months has gone by. It would be nice if you can just hit an update button.
Right.
And let's say you've downloaded 5 regions. You don't want to have to go back and update each one of them. You just want to have it update your offline charts for you.
Right.
So that's something we're going to be working on. A couple other things we're going to be working on right now. The offline chart just uses the default shading, the 3 shades of blue.
Mm-hmm.
My developers say it will not be that difficult to have you select and use your custom depth shading. One user in particular was somewhat frustrated. He really depends on that custom depth shading, and when he went offline, he's lost it. So that's something you'll see in the near future.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did we have another user question in the queue, or have we attacked them all, Jeff?
That was it. Crab pots, offline, and no wake zones.
Okay. Well, what's new and exciting? I think you told me something before we got started about Snaggleslip.
Yeah, as you know, we collect reviews on anchorages, marinas, all of our places, destinations. But through our partnership with Snaggleslip, we just pulled in about 8,000 marina reviews of all their partner marinas. So we significant number of reviews. You can see them now all within the, you pull up a marina or you do a search of marinas. You'll see the reviews, the number of reviews, the average rating for each marina. And we're talking to Waterway Guide about doing something similar. So I think between our own reviews, Snaggleslip, Waterway Guide, pretty soon here, you're going to have a pretty good base of reviews in the app. So those people that are cruising, they want to know more about anchorages, marinas, places they haven't been. We will be one of the top places, I think, to centralize a lot of that information. And if you've tried our review system, it's pretty robust. You can very easily find things not only in a list view, but a map view. So any questions on any of that, happy to answer it. The other thing that we're going to be bringing out is, and I mentioned earlier, the offline downloading feature is going to be significant. We had been improving it, but it's another level of improvement that's coming out. And as I just mentioned, there's more things we can do there. We're continuing to improve the captain's log, continuing to improve my pins. So if you're dropping private places, favoriting certain places, very easy to see them within my pins, manager pins. If you drop report pins, for instance, a hazard, you can see whether people have commented or liked giving you a thumbs up on those pins. And I don't know how much engagement we have on that. We certainly have some from certain users, but we're going to be, particularly with the season coming up, trying to engage our entire user base to do that and help other boaters. The basis of Argo was really to crowdsource, help others. Most of what I learned when I was first boating, where to go, where not to go, what to avoid, I learned from other boaters. So this is an opportunity, I think, to help each other by adding reviews, dropping pins, things like that.
Yeah, it's just aggregated local knowledge. You can't really best local knowledge. It's the best thing out there. So coming up, we have NMEA support. That's in the pipeline.
Well, I'm smiling here because that's your baby, Dave. You've been asking for NMEA integration, AIS, and I'll let Dave talk to it because he's been testing it the last few weeks. We actually we have AIS. We just need to put it through its paces, which Dave is doing before we get it out to the general user base.
It's very exciting, and I mean, like any beginning product, and this is sort of a beginning feature in Argo. Right now, it's buggy as hell, and it makes me smile every time I turn it on. It's just the idea that I can turn it on, and all of a sudden I see all of these other boats on the water, commercial vessels and tugboats, and I know where they are. I can call them on the radio. It's really huge. And just going through this process of building this out and getting to see it go from an idea to fruition, with all the bumps in the road that go with that, I can't tell you how stoked I am, Jeff. It's just a fabulous thing, and it has my actual speed from my GPS sensor on the boat as opposed to what's in my phone or my tablet. It has my actual location from my GPS sensor that's in my chart plotter. It has my heading from my autopilot's heading sensor, and it's accurate. So all these things are just coming together and providing what I think is going to be a killer experience for Argo users. I can't wait to kick this out and let everybody else have it, because it's really shaping up nicely.
I'm going to correct myself here. Glenn Holden, and Glenn did reach out to Dave and I recently. He sailed from Little River, South Carolina up to Long Island, New York, gave us a lot of kudos on how well Argo worked. And I'm sorry, I mixed him up with Glenn Armstrong. Glenn and his buddy are the ones that are doing the loop on jet skis. But Glenn Holden, put Argo through its paces on his sailboat, and that was great. We love feedback, good and bad. So appreciate it, Glenn.
Definitely. And I think we have we've cruised through another solid half hour of what's new with Argo. We do this Q&A every month at this time, the second Thursday of the month. So we'll be back at you in June doing the same thing at 7 p.m. On whatever date the second Thursday happens to be. But this is turning into a real fun time. I'm glad to be able to share this time. So, any last thoughts, Jeff?
No, we look forward to more features coming your way, but maybe even more important than that is we look forward to establishing a very stable app this boating season. We may be adding features, but we're going to be a lot more careful about how quickly we add them, make sure we see that the app is working solid. That's going to be our focus this season, is make sure we have an app that you can trust. It's not going to crash on you. It doesn't. You put a lot of features in there, you create bugs, and we have to limit that as much as possible. So
absolutely.
That's our
we have beta testers now.
We do have beta testers. We need to really take advantage of those, and that's something we had quite a really good turnout, I guess, of individuals that wanted to help us as beta testers. that's certainly not closed. So if you're interested, let me know. We just need to get them more engaged, and we should.
That's right. And our next live will be June 12th. I had Stacy just let me know that in the chat. We have one more question that just came in, a late question from Jonathan here. Will the AIS make Argo similar to an AIS receiver? Unfortunately, no. It's probably going to make Argo able to use the AIS receiver that you have on your boat right now, if you have one. But it's not going to turn Argo into an AIS receiver. We have gone back and forth as to whether to bring in actual over the internet type AIS or use the NMEA based AIS from a local AIS receiver. And I think ultimately for right now, we're going to stick with the latter, using your local AIS receiver. But that being said, there are some interesting ones on the market right now. There's one called, I think, Daisy, that is less than $100. And if it's a USB based AIS receiver, I think you can even just plug it into a tablet. You might need a USB hub or something to make it work, but I think you can just do that and have AIS working that way. So we're going to flesh all that out as we get NMEA working fully in the app, but that's the direction we are taking right now. So.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Happy boating. Send us feedback, stories. Love hearing from everyone.
Email us anytime. support@argonav.io. That's support@argonav.io. And we'll do this again next month. What do you say?
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.